Hey folks, welcome to the Freakopolis Times, our podcast mostly about stuff related to our comics and game shop, the Freakopolis Geekery. We're Ian, Tyler, and Troy, and we run the shop and talk to people all the time, just like in this podcast. Join us and some occasional guests as we talk comics, games, pop culture, and just about anything else that pops up. Remember, while some of our topics may get a little geeky, they change up pretty often, so hang in there and maybe the next one will be more your style. By the way, this podcast is video enhanced on YouTube and Spotify. Check it out that way if you like visuals with your talk. You never know what might show up. Now, let's do the show. There's a bunch of comics industry related news.
What's going on there?
Well, for one thing, New York Comic Con is starting end of the week. So the big East Coast con, where there'll be a lot of revelations and a lot of stuff.
Review.
Stuff that we can find out about what's going on with the whole comics industry. I know that that takes place October 6th through 9th. So there'll be a ton of news.
Oh, yeah.
In the comics industry coming out during that period of time.
That's exciting.
Do you think if you took all the cosplayers from New York Comic Con and pitted them against all the cosplayers from San Diego Comic Con, don't give them the powers of their characters, just the people, who do you think comes out on top?
Out of those two mobs,
Death battle.
to the death.
Probably the San Diego, just given it is the one that, I mean, not that New York Comic Con is any small deal, but it feels like San Diego Comic Con is the true annual event for such things, where they,
True.
Marvel, the
overshadow
MCU has a stage.
Yeah, but they're only fueled on avocados.
True enough, right? Whereas
Yeah.
New York has a variety of dairy and all sorts of excellent agriculture.
Corn.
More than enough corn.
People still eat meat on this side
True
of the
enough,
country.
true enough.
They've got some big trees, though.
Protein.
Big,
How does that help them?
Not in San Diego. That's
but, you
way
know.
up north.
We're talking... Okay.
That's
Fair
way up north.
They got some good tacos.
That might give them the advantage.
They do.
Those San Diego con-goers are fueling up on tacos, Jim.
Just saying where they've got us beat, okay?
Yeah, true enough. We gotta make some concessions, right?
Got nicer water.
Well,
when they have ocean water.
yeah, our water's kind of gray and cold.
Yeah.
Well, what are you talking about? The Atlantic Ocean?
The Atlantic
Yeah.
Ocean.
We're not.
yeah.
Well, New York is on the Atlantic Ocean, and
We're spoiled
Yeah.
with some nice lakes.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have any
beautiful
lakes
water.
left
right
over there.
upstate New York, we've got the nice water here.
Yes, as far as fresh water goes.
Right.
Disagree, fight us about it.
But as far as salt water goes,
They've got all the salt water.
and they love it.
They
for
can
some
keep
reason.
it.
They can drink it too. So I've heard
They can surf on it.
that can give them the advantage as well. While we're scrounging around for our fresh water, suffering in the heat strokes, and
They've
stuff,
evolved.
They have evolved to be able to process salt water.
So I'm not entirely sure on like what we can expect to be announced. I know that one thing is that the editor-in-chief of Aftershock Comics is leaving Aftershock, a guy named Mike Mart. He's been with Aftershock since they opened, which is about 8 years. So they were around a couple of years before our shop, the Geekery, opened up. They were already active and going, and we brought in some Aftershock right off the bat.
Yeah, we got some good stuff.
Yeah, they've got some really good titles out, but the editor-in-chief is really well regarded in the industry. He was well regarded at Marvel, at DC, and then he handled Aftershock and getting everything set up there and rolling. And now it's unknown where he's going, but he's changing. He's modifying his job path, I guess, and going to another company. So we'll be finding out, I'm sure, during New York Comic Con what's going on with Aftershock, who's going to be taking over.
Yeah.
They're also a New York-based comic company, so it's kind of very relevant to that show.
Oh, totally. Well, I don't know if there's any piece of the industry quite as tumultuous as the indie scene of comic books, you know? There's a lot of talent that comes and goes, and if you can make it 8 years on a single company, you've had a much longer run than most talent gets, you know?
It sounds like whoever's replaced him has some big shoes to fill.
May very well. And I hope that Aftershock continues to find their footing and stuff, and it's not a easy place to carve out your scene, but they put out some of the best horror stuff.
They're off to a good start.
Yeah, that you're going to read these days. So I would suggest that some of our listeners maybe check out the occasional Aftershock title and lend them your support.
And the interesting thing here, and that this sort of all ties together, is that Diamond Comics, while they've lost Marvel and DC as being the primary distributor to Penguin Random House and Lunar Distribution, respectively, have just elevated 4 other comic companies to what they call their deluxe tier.
Interesting.
And so there's always been Image Comics and Dark Horse and a couple of others that kind of fell in between Marvel, DC, and then all of the other
guys.
the other smaller indie comics. But now there's a new deluxe tier, which Diamond is pushing as being, this is the way comics are going. And those 4 companies include Aftershock.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
So at the same time as they became deluxe tier, the editor-in-chief is leaving. So it's a big, it'll be very tumultuous for Aftershock. It'll be very interesting to find out what happens to that company at the Comic-Con. Also, Titan Comics.
Nice.
Titan Comics, kind of well known for doing like these interesting like bio comics and stuff. They've done like Obama, for instance, and done a comic.
A lot of
about
cool
him.
miniseries and stuff. The thing is, Titan Comics generally prints a really nice book. Like, their material is what makes them stand out, usually. You can tell that it's a Titan published comic because, like, the cover and the pages are made of distinctly sturdier stuff.
Yeah, really, really nice quality materials.
Yeah.
Totally. So, so they're now elevated to this new deluxe tier for retailers, which basically means that Diamond is going to be pushing those companies to retailers more, probably doing more sales. They're definitely going to be pushing these companies more on a Previews World.
Mm-hmm.
So people that have pull lists and are, collecting comics regularly on a monthly basis are going to be getting notified more about these 4 companies. So Aftershock, Titan, Ablaze, and the new Frank Miller Presents series. So,
very cool.
Frank Miller, I would have thought that would have been an Image thing, but it's not.
Doing his own.
He's
as indie as it gets now if you deny signing up with Image.
well, yeah, I mean, what he's doing is he's trying to find artists that sort of, I guess, follow in his aesthetic, which I'm going to imagine means really heavy black lines.
Some occasional super highlight colors, but that's all.
Yeah, heavy shading.
Noir,
some starkness going on. So Aftershock, Titan, Ablaze, and Frank Miller Presents, we can expect to see a lot more of them being pushed from Diamond Comics and therefore comic shops around the world.
Well, I'm not going to cry over that. It's not as though Marvel or DC have, they're always changing out talent and have plans for ongoing series and new series and crossovers and events all the damn time. Image is going more than strong enough. These smaller companies, though, are sometimes where some of the best stories are being told. And if they can be put in the spotlight more often, I think that's just healthy for the industry as a whole. Oh man, coming up quick in the magic scene is Unfinity.
Yeah, we've been looking at this for like months, though. We've seen it coming up.
Thanks so much, Magic community, for letting us know about your interest in this set. 2 weeks prior to us having to scramble to get this all together.
To be fair, that's typical of the Magic community. When it's a long ways out, I'm finding that even our closest customers, they don't feel like they're all that interested in it. But the closer it comes, it's like a Geiger counter, you know?
Yeah.
The closer it comes, all of a sudden it's like, wow, this is exciting. This is important.
Mm-hmm. You know, I think that there are some leaks and reveals generally trailing the release.
Get the hype train up.
Yeah, once people see what some of the cool things that you can throw into your play are, they get really hyped about it and start asking for, more of an investment in our end for it. But sure as hell, it can be difficult to tell what the interest rate is until they get really on the right on the cusp of release, which is a struggle.
And there's always like a lot of pile-up. So Infinity releases, I believe, the end of this week. But I think that also is the same for the Warhammer Commander decks coming up at the same exact time. It's like now all of a sudden Magic is like the way they're combining Dominaria and Jumpstart and all of that comes together. And so it's like everything's coming in pairs all at the same time.
Yeah, speaking of that Warhammer Commander deck release, there's been a lot of controversy over the upcoming plans from Hasbro to do continued and increased crossovers for Magic the Gathering, which it really depends on your perspective. But what do you think, Tyler? Do you think it'll be fun to play against a Godzilla that has a sonic screwdriver equipped? You flash in a Inferno Salamander Space Marine?
Well, I think those sorts of questions are bound to be asked when Magic releases such unique sets on top of one another.
Mm-hmm.
We sort of got into Magic only a few years ago. We're relatively new to it compared to some people.
The Kaldheim set.
Yeah.
Funnily enough, now we have some Zendikar, more Zendikar in stock than we generally have had, which was, I believe, the set right before Kaldheim. So in that area anyway, but in the scope of it, that's pretty recent, for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
But, there's people who've been playing it for 30 plus years, and they're pretty attached to the setting and things being relatively continuous.
Right. Well, how long was it, kind of kept as a closed environment?
I believe until, I think it was 2020, or maybe even just last year, that they introduced a Godzilla card. However, in that set, they promised that these crossover event Magic the Gathering cards, where they take from other IPs and print them as cards, will have just alternative art for cards that will be eventually printed in a Magic style, right? So that Godzilla also exists as other creatures that have the exact same stats and effects.
Oh.
But they
like
look
a
like a
special
Magic
skin.
card. Yeah, exactly. Now, however,
It's really Gimli.
yeah, it seems that these future releases are going to be unique in the scope of things, and these cards will not be alternative art, but instead will be original cards for the game. And that brings up a lot of concerns that the game will become a total goddamn mess.
Well, okay, so what IPs have we seen, and what IPs are we expecting to see added?
D&D, Warhammer, Lord
those-
of the Rings,
Doctor Who.
Doctor Who.
Already we've had Godzilla, D&D, and now these Warhammer Commander decks are coming out very, very soon. Then, we have the Doctor Who set. I believe after that...
Have they done Transformers yet? Or
is a Transformers set.
Are you serious?
With an Optimus Prime that is completely unique and has stuff that will not be replicated on another Magic card, And I think there was rumblings of a Fortnite crossover.
Oh, wow.
Which speaks to a Hasbro strategy where they essentially says, anyone who is a big-time collector that really is put off by this, we don't care. We were more interested in getting people who are more invested in other IPs to check out Magic than we are in retaining curmudgeon-y, third-party, mostly purchasing,
That's
Magic
crazy.
players. Yeah.
Are we going to end up seeing Marvel? Will there be
An
Spider-Man?
Iron Man
Magic
commander
card?
deck? Oh, yeah.
It sounds like they're going the Fortnite way of things and opening their arms to all possible ideas and IPs.
Dragon Ball Z commander deck. Yeah, I mean,
Probably personally won't affect much for me. It'll
No.
broaden the scope of the game by so much, but that'll be fun.
I think it's insidious because it's slow, right?
It's a trickle.
So, yeah, it's a trickle. Like, you know, this year, yeah, we're going to add Warhammer. Next year, you know, then there'll be like a regular release. Like Brothers War is a regular
oh yeah, there's
regular release. But then on the heels of that, they'll slip in Doctor Who. And so,
Oh, it's true.
yeah.
And the game will be slightly transformed for it. But I think it is fair that you can expect people's tables to put down custom rules where they essentially say, no universes beyond. You know, we're playing strictly Magic. And I wouldn't necessarily find that to be too strict.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like this guy just wants Magic to look like Magic. And then
Hey.
you'll have other tables where they say, only
Anything.
universes beyond,
Yeah.
man. Yeah, let's make this table look crazy.
I'm just wondering, like, when does somebody get Star Wars as an RP, as an IP?
Oh, yeah.
Because Star Wars tied into Magic, would, you know, I think adding Star Wars to any of these games, HeroClix,
Yeah.
Magic,
It would be.
any of those would be just amazing.
Yeah,
It's in Fortnite. Why isn't it in
Right.
all this other stuff?
Well,
HeroClix would be the best. I mean, to me, that would be the best.
Got a bunch of stormtroopers and
Mandalorians.
Darth Vader.
Oh man, they
Yeah.
have a wide array of characters that could be well adapted for HeroClix
But-
or even for Magic. Yeah.
Right, but yeah, I can definitely see those cards as Magic cards.
Oh man,
too.
the Jawa Sandcrawler as a vehicle.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, like
That'd be
all
cool.
sorts of cool potential for sure.
I think based on what we've been seeing, you know, the sorts of IPs that are creeping in, I don't think any of those are out of the question. They're probably trying to negotiate them.
Oh, I'm sure they
Even
are.
now.
Yeah. Disney and Hasbro probably are in daily chat over what they could do to cross over.
I
yeah.
imagine some of it has to do with the fact that Fantasy Flight from Asmodee has a lot of the Star Wars IP
Yeah.
under their control.
Yeah, as far as gaming goes,
Yeah.
tabletop gaming and stuff,
Yeah.
they really hold a tight grip.
Maybe that'll slip away from them. I mean, I don't know how long that contract was for, but we saw what happened with Star Wars Destiny,
Yeah.
which really tried to challenge Magic. That was meant to be a Magic challenging set. But, you know, I'm kind of starting to hope that that Star Wars just rolls into one of these other games that we already support.
You're supposed to destroy the Sith, not join them. Star Wars.
Yeah, precisely. Those Hasbro suits sitting on their Jedi Council.
Yep. Looking at the Star Wars Destiny dudes.
We grant you the rank of knight.
Not a seat on the council.
But you have a seat on the council, but we do not grant you the rank of master.
There we go.
That is literally what they're attempting to do. No, you know, I think that the concerns are not unwarranted. I think that the game may very well benefit from it because those will look very appealing from an outside perspective. And Magic can be intimidating in general. It's like, oh, wow, you know, you're playing an elf deck, huh? That looks really fun. And they're like, yeah, this is my elf deck where I destroy my own lands in order to mill myself, which lets me play elves from my graveyard and give them haste with this one particular artifact, which I can fetch with 40 cards. It's like, I thought you were just playing a card game.
No.
No. I'm
But
playing.
something like 4 colorless, 2 red, fire the Death Star, you know, destroy target.
Yeah,
you know,
destroy, yeah.
permanent, whatever.
Exactly, yeah. They would be like, oh man, that makes perfect sense. It's so thematic. This game is so much fun. Yeah, and I think that there's a lot of different perspectives on this particular upcoming change to Magic, but it's going to be a tumultuous and potentially fun future, depending on your perspective.
I think Commander helps them a lot there. Like the fact that you can get involved in Commander by buying one of these themed decks, and you can play that deck without needing to add in a lot of cards. And you can do the add-in cards later.
Yeah.
You know, you can get started. So people that are already Warhammer players but don't play Magic and have kind of stood back and watched it going on, they can grab a Warhammer deck. They're going to feel comfortable with the nature of the deck.
They're going to know everything in the deck. And
Yeah. They might well appreciate the way, powers and attacks and defenses are translated into Magic terms.
And it can be kind of its own self-contained experience for them, yeah. Like, this is my Warhammer card game, you know?
Yeah, you could play 2 Warhammer decks against each other, and that's a completely kind of, a low Magic experience. High-tech, low Magic.
Yes. However, yeah, it's an interesting future, for sure, and I'm going to be interested to see some of these new Universes Beyond decks on the table and what the general reaction from the community is. Admittedly, the majority of our community essentially plays slightly modified pre-con decks, where they've swapped out likely no more than, 5 cards, honestly. And not because they don't have the time or the collection or anything.
Just fun.
Yeah, just because they find the pre-con to be built pretty well and amidst the power range that they like to play at, And with these, I think it will fit well for us,
Well, I mean, you get so much value out of it.
Yeah,
Commander deck,
Oh,
100 cards, all the lands you need, It's
Sometimes individual cards in a commander deck are
worth 50% of what you pay for.
Yeah, like a $30 card. And it's like, well, that's half of the cost, and the rest of these were essentially free. So It's an interesting proposition.
So the past couple of years, Free Comic Book Day and Halloween Comic Fest have been kind of disrupted by, world events.
Yeah. Get out of here.
You okay? All right.
Yes.
Oddly, this year, when kind of things are sort of normalizing, people are getting back together again to some degree, maybe in a guarded way, but we're not totally all staying at home. But Diamond Comics has decided that Halloween Comic Fest will only be a virtual event this year. There are no books for Halloween Comic Fest that they're publishing.
Aww.
I know, it's kind of a bummer. We've done Halloween Comic Fest every year that we've been open. I'm sure we will still do a Halloween event. I'm sure we will still break out Halloween Comic Fest books from previous years in case people didn't get them.
But our community has a lot of fun with that day. Kids get dressed up and stuff,
Yeah.
It's always a good time. A little costume contest. Not that we won't be doing that stuff, but having a, officiated event that follows it. Where it's
and the ability for us to order books that are designed for giving away at that event. Now, we have to pay for them, but people get to come and get them for free from comic book shops around the world. And they're not doing that this year. And I'm guessing some of that has to do with the shakeup of, as we mentioned previously, Marvel is now with Penguin Random House.
Yeah.
DC is off with Lunar. Dark Horse is moving to Penguin Random House soon.
Some of those big titles that you would be familiar with would be, they'd have to negotiate much harder in order to organize it.
And word was that Marvel was going to stay involved in Comic Fest. Maybe they just couldn't get it together for this year and didn't find, it happened too fast and it isn't as important to them. But unfortunately, Halloween Comic Fest this year is a virtual event. They're suggesting that shops hold what they're calling a spooktacular sale. I suppose we may get involved in that kind of thing. We haven't made up our final minds yet on how we're handling Halloween this year at the shop. We'll definitely have some sort of event. We'll definitely be hoping that people will come in costume. We'll probably have some costumes ourselves. So anyways, that's the news. That's what's going on with Halloween Comic Fest this year. Stay tuned for our shop's specific details.
Yeah, we'll still have fun.
Mm-hmm.
We don't need you, Diamond.
It's unfortunate.
We
though.
can hope for next year.
They'll
have their act together like us. And
a virtual event is nowhere near as fun. Yeah,
I liked having the new titles in And there was always some really cool stuff. There was always some stuff where, they're given away for free, but actually some of those issues end up having value, collectible value, because they often publish a very exclusive little story that somehow catches people's attention and becomes an important thing.
No longer for the moment.
For right now, we're not going to be doing that. But anyways, stay tuned. The Geekery will have some sort of comic fest or Halloween event, perhaps some sort of a spooktacular sale. We'll see.
How generous of them to suggest that.
Yeah, exactly. They're not really providing us any help.
No.
Normally there's window clings and posters and lots of promotion and even like network TV ads and stuff. But not this year. So
we'll throw our own Halloween comic fest
with hero clicks and
hookers
and Dazzler.
So since we opened, we were meant to be both a media production group as well as have a comic and game shop. And we've tried many, many different types of media production. We've done a lot. We have hundreds of videos on YouTube.
Yes.
We've done a ton of Facebook live streaming. We've done a bunch of Twitch streaming, and we keep kind of moving around depending, to feel where people appreciate our work the most. And we've added a new one this week that we're just getting started with. So you will soon be able to watch a whole bunch of craziness from Freakopolis on TickTock.
Yep.
TickTock.
We've officially reached our hands in and
joined the dark side.
That's right.
TickTock.com/@Freakopolis is our address there as a business TikTok.
Thanks for not ransoming the name, suckers. Gave us all this time and we still got it.
If you future thinkers out there missed a good opportunity.
Yeah.
We weren't going to do it because, we already felt we had a whole lot of social medias covered and we were working with them a lot. But boy, that's where everybody is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
that's where everybody is, and we come up with a lot of skits.
Yeah, our stuff is crazy anyways. We've always posted kind of offbeat, off the wall sort of stuff to all of those other places. Mm-hmm. Maybe we're thinking maybe we belonged on TikTok all along. We'll find out.
Yeah, I think look forward to some interesting productions out of us. We already have some ideas brewing for sure. I don't know how I feel about the landscape of TikTok, but I know how the generation younger than I am does.
Mm-hmm. People love that.
They do.
The scroll. Unfurl the scroll and just keeps going.
The magic scroll. Yeah, no, it's true. It's it's indicative of a big shift in social media for sure, because I've seen more than enough articles this week saying Facebook is crashing and burning.
Oh yeah, it's about to die. It has so much money that
it can't really die.
Yeah, it can't really die, but it's definitely drifting toward the back. Hopefully, it's soon the MySpace of social media.
Inevitably, right?
Yeah.
But do you replace it with TikTok?
Not sure. Something will rise from the ashes for sure. Thing is, though, the most attributed reason for Facebook's decline is, in general, the feed, right? The feed only gives you advertisements and garbage, and there's less and less content being made by the people you care about. I'm sure they're doing just fine on Instagram, on the other hand, which is the same frickin' people, but it is interesting to know that what was once a monolith of social media is on its way down, whereas some other guys are on the uprise. And, we're going to go panning for gold in that river, too.
Well, yeah, I mean, we have to keep working it in the same way that we've just recently, this is episode 18 of our new podcast.
Yeah.
And now we're adding TikTok because we can't sit still. We've got to keep going. We've got to keep getting the word out.
That's true.
We've tried a lot of things, but usually when we try them, we follow through.
Yeah.
Oh man, yeah.
We always give it a good workout. I mean,
I don't think we have a single like serious video series on our YouTube that doesn't have more than a dozen videos put into it.
Mm-hmm.
And now this podcast is,
Past that mark too.
yeah, one of our other endeavors that we've thoroughly enjoyed. Hope you listeners have liked us ongoing. I know we've improved a bit. We've got those nice transitions. Sound has improved and stuff. So I'm looking forward to how much further this goes. And if you enjoy this podcast, by the way, feel free to share it on TickTock. If that's possible.
Sure.
Not on those other dying social medias.
No.
Screw that.
We don't scroll on those anymore.
No longer.
so yeah, expect us to put some of our serious attention into this podcast and TikTok. And we'll still be keeping people alerted to things on Facebook.
No,
and,
sure. Yeah.
Instagram, and all of our videos end up on YouTube as well. Maybe I don't know. Maybe some of those TikTok ones won't. We'll have to see.
Hey, you know what's reached the PlayStation Store recently?
What?
Wrath of the Righteous. You're playing it, bro. I'm not. You are.
It's true. It has, and it's been very fun.
Yeah.
Thus far.
Pathfinder.
What is this? Oh, it's Pathfinder.
Yeah.
It's a isometric RPG video game running on Pathfinder.
I believe
basically.
it's been out for a little while, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is actually like the re-release, I believe, the remastered edition or something. But it seems as though, much like Neverwinter Nights did in the past, it truly embraces the tabletop system of Pathfinder and all its depth and various mechanics, which there's a lot to. And it really gives you the option to play your way and build up your character. You are playing Mad Mogren.
Yes. The fearsome dwarven cavalier riding on Bill the Terror, his horse that chomps people.
And even the horse gets like feats and stuff.
It's
right?
got its own subclass.
See, that's the thing that Pathfinder always continued
Yes.
to do.
Oh, yes. Lots of types of characters and subclasses. And
Yeah. It continued to just build up on its list of feats and stuff. Though there's really familiar stuff in there, like toughness and great fortitude. It's, based off 3rd edition. But it has so much more, too.
And it doesn't only follow through on the mechanical side of things with all the feats and stuff, but the RPG elements to it, all the different dialogue options you have. Are you going to respond to this chaotically or lawfully or good or evil? And those all have various outcomes depending on what you choose.
A ton of passive skill checks and stuff during conversation. Like I saw that you were talking to a warlock who didn't really realize she was a warlock, but based on clues in the conversation, you were like, I think I know who her patron is.
Yeah, with a good religion check, you think, oh, that sounds like the grandmother crone or whatever.
Yeah. So with that, you definitely get a glimpse into how much these developers prioritized. Well, there's a lot of dialogue. But absolutely there's systems of relations with characters and a branching narrative, which is really hard to pull off well.
Yeah. It's a good mix of sort of quick quests that are easy to follow and ones that are long and seem like they could span, hundreds of hours. Yeah. Or dozens.
It's single player, but you play like a party, right?
You've got a whole party, up to 6 people you bring with you.
So I've heard the campaign is based on rallying a crusade and defeating these demon invaders from the abyss. That's some pretty classic fantasy stuff for sure. But you start off small, which is cool. It looks like the space that you're in here in these first acts is mostly just this
one city or half of a city, yeah.
But supposedly it really explodes in scope at some point or another.
And now you said that it tracks sort of the tabletop rules and all of that. Is it like Blood Bowl, do you see the dice rolls? Are there dice rolls? Or?
There are dice rolls. They don't literally, show dice that fall down and roll. It's just that it'll give you, you needed a 9, you got a 2.
I see.
So,
I like it when you can see the dice.
It is pretty nice, though. It keeps it to more.
I mean, they're still digital and it's all the same.
Yeah,
but.
It doesn't try and be a literal tabletop.
Right.
Yeah,
it's more immersive than that.
Yeah.
So, what's your general first reaction? Or
I'm digging it.
Here? Yeah,
it feels pretty good. You have to be smart about things if you're hoping to survive, and your choices all seem to have a lot of meaning and interactions with other things you've.
And what level is your main character now?
4.
Level 4. And do you know how high a level it goes to, or
up to 20, unless you choose a particular option, which lets you go to 40.
Wow.
Yeah. We have a little bit of insight into what the end game looks like because of a good friend who let us know. But on their recommendation, I think we found another cool isometric adventure for sure.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Looking forward to delving deeper into it.
Yeah.
And that about does it for this one. If you like hanging with us, please subscribe through your favorite podcast directory. Join our Discord and check out our shop, the Freakopolis Geekery. See you next time.